Hello everyone. Today we'll be looking at a very important subject, and that is the subject of population and sample in research. This particular topic seems to confuse a lot of people. They are not being able to distinguish strikingly the differences between population and sample. And when you don't have that basic understanding, as a researcher or a student, you will have issues in carrying out your research. So we're going to start with the basics, and that is the definition of population and the definition of a sample. When you talk about population, you are simply talking about the entire group that you want to study. It talks about the entire group of people. It can be a particular concept I want to study. Everything I want to study is referred to as population. But when you talk about the subject of sample, it's talking about the particular number of people or a selection from a particular population that you want to use in carrying out your research. A sample is a subset of a population that you want to collect data from so that you are able to make generalization to the entire population. So a sample is a subset of a population. If you're interested in studying the behavior or the attitude of women to a particular product in Nigeria, obviously it may be very difficult for you to be able to involve all the women in Nigeria and sample the opinions concerning a particular product. So what do? You just select a few of them, let's say 1,000 or 2,000 of them from different regions, and then you administer your survey questionnaires to them and you collect data that you need. Based on that, that is when you'll be able to conclude on the attitude of women to a particular population. So population is the entire group that we are interested in studying. But sample is actually the selected people that you collect data from. So since it may be impossible for you to collect data from a whole population, we make use of sample in research. So all the people you collect data from is called sample. So that is the meaning of population, and that is the meaning of a sample. Population is an entire group, while sample is a subset of that population that you collect data from. To further explain the striking differences between population and sample, let's look at a few examples. For instance, we want to study a particular school. The school has 10,000 students, or let's say the school has 10,000 students. It may be difficult for you to collect data from all the students in that school. So what do? You may decide to use 1,000 students out of the 10,000 students in that school and ask them about their opinion, maybe concerning examination or the teaching efficiency in their school. So we just make use of few of them. So that 10,000 students is called the population, is the entire students. Then that 1,000 students you collect sample from is called the sample. So in essence, instead of asking all the students questions, you decided to ask 1,000 students out of the 10,000 students in that school. That becomes your sample. 10,000 is your population, while 1,000 is your sample. Another example to help us distinguish between population and sample is when you are carrying out a national election poll. So for instance, Nigeria want to carry out a national election poll. The population of that study is all eligible voters in Nigeria. So do you know the number of voters in Nigeria, in every nook and cranny of Nigeria? So you want to carry out a research national election poll to know which candidate people are going towards more than the others. So in order to know that, you carry out a research, and I tell you, it may be practically impossible for you to get to know the opinion of each and every eligible voter in Nigeria. But all the eligible voters in Nigeria is called population. While the sample is the people you are able to ask them questions, you are able to administer your questionnaires to and get some data. And to do that, what do? You make use of selected few from different regions in Nigeria. So you go to Northwest, let's say you make use of 1,000 people there. You go to Northeast, maybe you sample the opinion of 1,000 people. You go to North Central, you get 1,000 people's opinion. You go to Southeast, you get their opinion. You go to Southwest, you get their opinion. You go to South-South, then you get their opinion. 1,000 from each zone. So that means you are making use of 6,000 sample size in that study. So all eligibility voters in Nigeria is called the population, while the 1,000 people you select from each of the zones becomes your sample. So that is another practical example of the difference between population and sample in research. Having said that, let's highlight some of the striking differences between population and sample in research. Number one, considering the definition, population involves the entire group under study, while a sample is just a part of that population. So population is the entire group under study, while the sample is a part or a subset of that population. In terms of size, population is usually larger than sample. Population can be very large or infinite. You may not even know the exact number of the people in that particular area you want to carry out your research, or you may know it might be infinite. So the population has a very large size. But when it comes to sample, you have a specific number of people. Specific number of people. When it comes to sample, you have a specific number of people, smaller and manageable. So population is always larger than the sample. In sample, the size is manageable and it is smaller. So another difference is in terms of cost and time. It is very costly to carry out a research that covers the whole population. It can be costly in terms of the resources and the time. But when it comes to sample, it is more cost effective. It saves your time, it saves your resources to make use of sample in a study. Another striking difference is in terms of data collection. It's almost impracticable for you to collect data from everyone in the population of a study. But when you make use of sample, you are able to get data from the people that are involved in that research. So that is another striking difference that I must highlight for you to understand. So to summarize what we have just said now, the striking difference between population and sample is population involves the whole group of people you are studying, while a sample is just a part or a subset of that population you are interested in studying. So you pick sample out of the population. So you cannot get sample outside the population. It is from the population that you pick some people. Those people that you pick become your sample. So that is the simple difference between population and sample in research. If this video has blessed you, if this video has helped you in one way or the other, please ensure you like it. And if you have any question, don't fail to drop your question in the comment section and we'll respond to it as soon as possible. See you in the next video.